Good morning and welcome to the Killik market update. This week we've seen China retaliating against US tariffs, and they have threatened to stop exporting rare earths into the US. Now, what are rare earths? They're chemical elements found in the Earth's crust that are used in a number of modern technologies. For example, smartphones, laptops, renewable energy, electric vehicles, and they're also used in a number of healthcare applications. For example, they're used in devices like pacemakers, and they're also used in the production of cancer treatments. Now, China at the moment is actually responsible for over 70% of the global production of rare earths. If you have a look at this chart here, you can see China in 2018 produced 71% of these rare earths. So actually, for that reason, they do have a bit of leverage here against the US. And for that reason, we have seen global markets coming off a bit this week since this threat has been announced. And there are a number of mining companies, Glencore, for example, which is listed in the UK but does have exposure to rare earth mining in China. And we have seen a bit of a weakness in share prices there as well. Now, longer term, it is possible that some production could be moved out of China. Rare earths are found all over the world, and there's no reason why most of this production has to take place in China. But in the short term, we will just have to wait and see whether or not China does go ahead with this threat. And also this week, we've seen more of a focus on the global levels of excess waste and on recycling and the lack of recyclable plastics. So back in 2017, most countries were exporting their excess levels of waste to China. So if you have a look at this chart here, you can see the global levels of waste that's being exported and imported by different countries. Now, the numbers here are in thousands of metric tons. So you can see that in 2017, the UK, like many developed economies, was guilty of exporting a lot of its waste. China, on the other hand, imported over 1.2 billion tons of waste from other countries. Now, a lot of this waste was supposed to be recyclable, and it was shipped to China so that China could recycle it. However, China has since said that actually a lot of this waste was mislabeled, and actually a lot of the plastics that were sent to China ended up having to go into landfill or to be incinerated. So both of those are clearly very polluting options. And actually last year, China said the problem had become so bad that it would no longer accept any waste imports from any other countries. Now, since then, a lot of that waste has been diverted to other Asian economies. And this week, Malaysia has come out and said that since then, it too has been completely overwhelmed by mislabeled waste imports. And from now on, it too will no longer be accepting any waste imports. So this just highlights the point that global levels of excess waste are becoming a huge problem. And it does highlight that there is a huge opportunity for companies involved in either recycling or the production of recyclable materials. Now, clearly, this whole focus on sustainability is becoming a very important theme. And actually, next week here at Killik, on Saturday, the 8th of June, we are hosting a brunch event focusing on sustainable fashion. So if that's of interest to you, please do have a look at the link in the caption to this video if you would like some more information. And finally, this week, we've had a major profit warning from De La Rue, and actually the shares were off over 30% yesterday. Now, De La Rue is best known for the production of banknotes, and it did give a number of reasons for the profit warning yesterday, one of which was that it didn't win the contract for production of new UK passports. Another was that it's waiting for a large bill to be paid by Venezuela, and Venezuela hasn't been able to pay that because of sanctions. But clearly, one of the main underlying reasons is the fact that we are moving towards becoming a cashless society, and there is less demand for banknotes. And actually, De La Rue shares are off by more than 70% since 2013. And for us, this is just a reminder that we should all look at our portfolios, look at the companies in there and have a think about what they do, and then have a think about whether what they do will be in demand in the next 10 or 20 years. Now, moving along to the week ahead, fairly quiet one in terms of companies reporting. We have got results coming out from AO World, but mainly next week we think the focus will be on the trade war between the US and China, and also on UK politics. That's it from us. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.